And now it's time for another edition of the 12th Man Fan Jam. With your host, the Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you, Magic Voice of the 12th Man Fan Jam, and welcome one and all for another special off-season Draft Week edition of the 12th Man Fan Jam. I am your host for the program, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity, and I want to personally thank you all so much for making us part of your Seahawk off-season fix as we discuss the off-season for your Super Bowl 48 champion Seattle Seahawks. So sit back, grab a desired beverage or cine of your choice, and remember, this week everyone is Mel Kiper's bitch. We have so much to discuss on the program for you today, and luckily, I am never alone. No, the 12th Man Fan Jam posse is here from around the world to light our way along the festivities with some drafty bit of fun and information. First, my good old partner in crime, the yin to my yang. He's only interested in draft beer. You know him as Suffolk Blue on SeahawkBlue.com. We know him as Matt from England.
Hello.
Matt,
Good
how are
gags.
you?
Good gag. This one. Good opening segment. I like that. Well done.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Does that mean the other one sucked?
Yeah, normally. Absolutely.
Okay.
Well,
I've had some time off to work on it. All right. The guy you heard doubting our news hound.
He's a doubter.
He's a doubter. He's our news hound. He's here to keep us all updated in news during the off season. Like a summer breeze, he'll make you feel fine. He's known as Shadowhawk. We know him as Will.
Say the Super Bowl 48 champions bit again. I never get tired of that.
As we discuss the offseason for your Super Bowl 48 champion Seattle Seahawks.
Life is good.
Awesome.
Never tire of it. I'm with you. Another guy that never tires with it, I know, is our stats man from the regular season. Deep in the heart of enemy territory in California. Sometimes we call him the Breeze because he just keeps blowing down the road. That's a Leonard Skinner reference, folks. We know him as Zorn76. You know him as Statsman Mark.
Good afternoon, Moses. I'm reporting live 15 minutes from the 49ers' new stadium, where the sidewalks and streets are still stained with 49er tears.
Oh,
Sounds lovely.
Doesn't that sound wonderful? And I know when you talk about the cheers of 49ers, kids are here, and the kids dig that. Kids, you like yeah, the kids dig that. I'm sorry. You're going to say something there, William?
I was just wondering if Mark had managed to sneak over to the new stadium and whiz on it yet.
Well, not yet. I'll have to check with my sponsor to see if that's okay.
All right. Well, while he's checking with the sponsor, we got a great show coming up. Of course, the draft's around the corner. There's also a big, I don't know, there's some holiday coming up called Cinco de Mayo. I think that's coming up in a couple days. I don't know when that is, but whenever that is, if you're celebrating this Cinco de Mayo thing, happy Cinco de Mayo. Of course, if you're Andy Reid, he's celebrating a sink full of mayo. But I don't know when that is. Cinco de Mayo, it's sometime in May. I think it's like the 14th or something. I don't know. But anyway. We also have draft coming up in just a couple days, and that's what we want to talk about. We know you're interested in hearing about the draft edition show and how it's going to work. So let's run over how the show is formatted. Of course, as usual, this show is 4 quarters, just like a real NFL football game. And if this is your first time listening, welcome to the 12th Man Fan Jam. We have 4 quarters. In the first quarter, Will fills us with the news that we may have missed during our time off. The last couple weeks we've been away and probably doing things other than noticing the Seahawks or noticing the NFL. Will catch you up on your stories to get you up to date. Quarter 2, we'll talk about the Seahawks signings that have happened since our last show. We've had a couple of very interesting signings. Halftime is going to be a surprise for the rest of the 12th Man Fan Jam posse. They don't know this, but we have a play-along game that we'd like you all to play along with us, and the 3 contestants will be Matt, Will, and Mark, and they're going to play a version of Seahawk Draft Trivia. So Get excited for that.
Lordy.
Oh, yes. And you can play along at home. Just follow the screen. We'll have the questions and the answers for you, and you can play along.
You have to play the Price is Right music while you follow along.
We've got a theme song set up. And, well, now we are halftime. And then the third quarter, we're going to talk about Seahawks schedule that came out a couple weeks ago. And finally, the fourth quarter, yes, the Seahawk draft info. Will and Mark will probably be doing most of the leading there as far as things that we all think that the Seahawks need to draft and players that are looking like they may draft. And we may even make a prediction or two. I don't know. We'll see. Throw some names out so that we can say in a couple weeks, haha, we told you so. Speaking of a couple weeks, looks like right now, in 2 weeks, we'll have another 12th Man Fan Jam. So be looking for that in a couple weeks. And if you want to talk to us or you want to say, hey, this show's great, or hey, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard, the email is up on the wall again, up on the screen. Please, 12manfangio@gmail.com. Say hi, you like us, you hate us, whatever. You ain't too proud to beg. We're looking for anybody to say something. So say something to us on the email or on the comments of this very show. Okay, enough about that. Let's get started. The first quarter, go right into news. Yes, news from around the NFL and the sports world where you are too busy trying to eat the rest of that Easter candy. And bringing us the news will be our very own news hound, Will. Will, what have you got for us this evening, my friend?
Well, we have a little drama in the desert to start off with. A former Cardinal and a current Cardinal have been sniping at each other. Cardinals defensive lineman Darnell Dockett, about a week or so ago, took issue with linebacker Carlos Dansby, who signed with the Cleveland Browns as a free agent. Dockett accused Dansby of chasing the money rather than going for a ring. Well, Dansby struck back a little bit. He told Mary Kay Cabot of the Cleveland Plain Dealer, quote, "I feel Dockett doesn't believe in the guys in his locker room," unquote.
Wow.
So these guys will not be on each other's, will not be invited to each other's Cinco de Mayo parties, I'm thinking.
Well, I'd like to share with you, actually, I have audio. This is what the Cardinals actually sound like when they fight each other. That's actually what it sounds like. So I actually have audio of these two guys fighting each other. These are Cardinals fighting each other. Right there, you hear it? He calls him a selfish bastard. Did you pick it up right there? Well, Darnell Dockett is, of course, known as the affectionate nickname of Fartbox. So, and you kids can look that up. Look up Darnell Dockett and Fartbox. I'm not kidding. That is his nickname. He's known as.
He's not making it up. Moses could not make up anything that awesome.
How can I make that up? So Fartbox is in a war of words with another player, Carlos Dansby. I thought wait a minute, you said Dansby, right?
Yeah, Dansby. He signed a free agent contract with Cleveland this offseason.
I thought he was with the Miami Dolphins.
No, he wound up back in Arizona either last year or the year before. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so he's just saying he's going after the money. Well, Darnell Dockett is, as we know, just a classy guy from his tweets and his nickname Fartbox. So, Mark,
his wife gave him that nickname, actually.
Exactly. You're right. That's exactly right. Mark, Darnell Dockett, one of the classiest players you've ever heard.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what's going on, he seems to be chirping about a whole lot of nothing.
They're a 5-inch finch. How can you get angry at a 5-inch finch? Oh, Matt, do you have 5-inch finches over in England?
No, just the Welsh.
You have. You got birds over in England. They have birds in England.
Apparently so. I don't do much. I'm not interested much in the birds.
That's a good band, but it was everything.
Unless they come along with the bees.
No, that translates differently if you're English than if you're American, I think. But never mind.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Carry on, you guys.
Yeah, guys. I get it. Birds. Well, isn't bird another word for a female too?
It is. Yes, a lady with boobs and everything. Mm.
Oh, my favorite kind.
Yeah. Hey, Will, you got any of that in your next story, or?
Well, it's bringing us back to America's shores. Mike Holmgren has weighed in on Johnny Manziel, sort of. If you get the draft preview issue of Sports Illustrated, you will see a quote from Mike Holmgren on the cover about Manziel, saying he is, quote, too playground, too freelancey.
I happen to have that in
Keep
my
in
hand
mind,
right now.
keep in mind, Mike Holmgren grew to prominence from coaching Brett Favre. So if he's saying that Johnny Manziel is too playground and too freelance, oh my.
No, he's too freelance-y.
Freelance E. You're correct, 1,000 pardons, but you get the drift.
Well,
Yeah.
they're describing him as isn't he supposed to be the next Michael Vick? Isn't this what they're describing him as? So in that case, every dog on the side of the USA must be really worried by now.
Well, every dog has his day.
Here's the quote that'll send you running. The quote from that, I have that draft preview in my hands right now, and the two playground, two freelance is pretty funny. But my favorite one, I don't know if this is supposed to be a compliment or not, Mark, but Rich Gannon's quote about Manziel on the cover of Sports Illustrated is, he reminds me of Jeff Garcia. Is that a compliment?
Well, it's interesting because since Rich Gannon was a deer in headlights for a lot of his career or in big games, you think he could see things clearly. I don't know how much I trust his judgment though on this one.
Oh man, Jeff Garcia. I don't know. Hey, he's the next Jeff Garcia. Well, we better go get him in the 6th round then, I guess. I don't know. Another great quote on there, Will, not only the two freelancing from the guy, like you said, that had Brett Favre, but David Cutliff says, who gives a rat's ass about his mechanics? I'd love to coach this kid. Which is an interesting quote, too.
Nice.
But yeah, two freelancing from the guy that fought to get Brett Favre. That's like saying, I don't know. He doesn't do his reads well. Well, hello, Brett Favre.
Well, the thing is, too, if it's coming from Holmgren and he doesn't like the pick, given his track record as a GM in drafting, maybe Manziel will be the best thing to happen to Cleveland.
That's true. That's very true.
Oh man, do you remember when Tim Ruskell was fired? There were people that actually wanted Seattle to bring Holmgren back as GM.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I respect what he did as a coach, but as a GM, I mean, this is the guy that brought us Lamar King.
Oh my God, I was just thinking that. That's what
Yeah,
I was thinking.
we should have we should maybe give out the Lamar King Award for our worst draft pick 3 years after whatever draft class.
Well, maybe you guys,
There
whoever's
you go.
last place will be our Lamar King from now on. Yeah. Matt's looking forward to that award.
I'm always looking forward to that. The Lamar King Award, always. But he was the first pick, wasn't he? By Holmgren, wasn't he the very first
Holmgren's
one?
First ever draft pick.
Yep.
Starts you mean to go on, I suppose.
It didn't get much better from there.
I was going to say, you got to let him off a little bit as his first one, but think about it, nah, not really.
but Kelly Jennings was so smart. But okay, I won't go there. Well, what's your last story for the evening?
Well, Moses, to bring up Cinco de Mayo again, there's one man who's probably not going to be celebrating this Cinco de Mayo, and it is the formerly named Chad Ochocinco. Now back to Chad Johnson. Johnson recently signed with the Montreal Alouettes of the Canadian Football League, given that he can't find a job in the NFL. But he may not have a job in the CFL either. You see, he has to get a work permit to be able to play for a Canadian football team. The problem is, 2 years ago, he pleaded no contest to charges that he assaulted his wife, the charge that got him kicked off of the Miami Dolphins and subsequently divorced. So that's could be a problem for Chad Johnson. People with criminal records routinely are blocked from securing permission to work in Canada.
Nice. Hey, you can't work here, eh? Take off.
Well, to be fair, they gave us Justin Bieber. They owe us one. Let the guy play.
Hey, They gave us Loverboy too, so don't even. All right, so
They gave us more than one. They gave us Celine Dion. They gave us Buddy. And jeez, Louise, that country's got a lot to answer for. Let me tell you.
Brian Adams.
wait,
Oh,
who the hell's Jeeves Louise?
jeez, Louise.
Is that a singer?
Yeah, no, it's not.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, hey, they gave us Loverboy. They gave us Rush. You can't fault them for that.
What have they given us, really? What
Well-
have Canada given us? Maple syrup.
Hey, if you're gonna start making fun
Hockey.
of, if you're gonna start making fun of the Canadians, I'm all over this. But of course, you know what having making love with your loved one Canadian style means.
No.
It means
Heavy on the maple syrup.
no.
Dicky.
That means you both face forward so you can watch the hockey game.
Okay.
Hey, it's playoffs.
Canadian bacon. All right, we've made enough Canadian bacon.
It's the end of the first quarter, bitches.
And I think we've made enough fun of the Canadians tonight. Let's go ahead and pull this first quarter over. We'll make fun of more Canadians on the second quarter. We'll come back with some more Canadian fun. Hey, take off, you hosers. We're about to end the first quarter, so we'll take a quick break and station identification, and we'll be back with the start of the second quarter right after this.
You're listening to the 12th Man Fan Jam on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
So, take off to the Great White North. Take off. It's a beauty way to go. Take off, you hosers.
And now it's time for the second quarter of the 12th Man Fan Jam. Here to take you through the second quarter is once again our host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Thank you once again, Magic Voice of the 12th Man Fan Jam, and welcome to the second quarter of special draft edition of the 12th Man Fan Jam, where we've been basically doing little draft work and picking on Canadians. So, we are back to do that very same thing. But we're going to change things up a little bit. We're going to change our news. We're going to keep our news hound in the driver's seat as we go in the second quarter. And Will's going to talk about the different changes we had, the different re-signings in Seattle and the signings of new players. Will, what have been some changes since we last all met together?
Well, we had a couple of signings today. We brought back O'Brien Schofield after he, quote, failed a physical, unquote, with the Giants. You know, what's that all about? No details on Schofield yet. I can't imagine it's anything more than a 1-year deal, though, probably minimum or close to it. But, it's good to have him back. He's got good, adds good depth in the front seven, and he's made some plays.
I agree. I was really kind of excited about him because from my understanding, when he left the Cardinals, they had made big plans for him, and then they changed their staff, and he kind of got booted out, so to speak, and was looking to get back at him by joining a team in the division. So I was really excited about him last year. He didn't do as much, but he just didn't get on the field as much. But like you said, he made some plays. Mark, what do you remember about Schofield?
Who? No,
Well, that about sums it up.
All right, fair enough. All
With-
right.
Yes, now I do. I remember very little about him. I remember the name, but I guess I'm glad he's back.
Love it.
Oh, Mark has his doubts about Schofield. Maybe we should move on to another re-signing, Will, that happened today.
Well, not a re-signing, actually. We took a player off of the Minnesota Vikings again. Seems to be a pattern.
Wasn't he a Cardinal before that as well, or have I made that up? Or am I imagining
That's Schofield.
Yeah, A.J. Jefferson, cornerback from played with Minnesota. Again, more of a depth signing. He'll be in there, but 6'1", runs a 4.4 40, so he has size and speed.
Wow. Well, and he came from the Vikings, so basically you know what that means. He moved on up, baby.
Cleolanda!
That Jefferson moved up, baby. All right, that Jefferson moved up. No doubt about that. If he's coming from the Vikings.
Oh dear.
Moving on up.
Saved himself some frostbite too, because if he'd stayed in Minnesota, he would have to play at University of Minnesota's outdoor field.
That's right. Very true. Very true. Well, congratulations, Jefferson. You are moving on up to the west side, and you will be on the Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks. So congratulations to you. Also had a couple other players there, Will, that were re-signed that we may know a little bit more about, that Mark may actually care a little bit more about these guys.
Well, it's nice to welcome Sidney Rice back at a much smaller deal than the what we would have had to pay him if we just kept him on his other contract. Cleared to work out, and I guess he's been doing some light workouts so far. And I think this is going to be big because, Rice, obviously, with Rice, you got the health issues, but when he is healthy, he really has made a difference in our receiving game, and I think not having him at the end of the season really hurt us a few times.
Yeah, I agree. Mark, you heard of him, Sidney Rice?
Yes, I have, and I actually like Sidney. I think for me, when I think about this signing, one, of course, he's familiar with the team, and when he's healthy, he does pretty well. And two, with another big if in terms of health concerns, with Percy Harvin hopefully playing an entire season, Rice is still a big enough threat to where you got to pay attention to, him, and that may open it up for Harvin more or Baldwin or vice versa. And as a group, I think bringing Rice back into the fold really helps the offense.
Yeah,
I do too.
I just hope he has another 2012 season, with the 7 touchdowns and the 700 yards or so. Injury is always the blight of every football player. And last year, both he and Percy Harvin had a terrible year in terms of injury. And I just hope he has a 2012 type season out of it. I think he deserves it. I think he's a great player as well. It's nice to see him around. I mean, he was one of the ones who I was happy to drop. If you remember, all the way back when we were talking about keeping some of our core players, and I said he was one of the ones I'd be prepared to lose. I'm pleased that we've got him. I'm pleased that we've got a better deal for him. So, yeah, good.
Yeah, to me, he was like that amputated hand that they always say, someone who's lost a limb feels like it's still there sometimes. I know that Sidney wasn't technically with us, but I just felt like he was still part of the team. And when I looked around and when I saw he got signed, it's unanimous. I feel the same way about the guy. I think he's a great guy. I'm thrilled he's back. I was afraid he wouldn't be. But all that time I just kind of thought, they're going to re-sign him. They'll re-sign him. I'm not worried about it. They'll re-sign him. And then he went to visit the Jets, and I'm like, uh-oh. And then he re-signed for us. But he always seemed to always be there. I didn't feel like he was ever not on the team. But it seemed like the consensus I saw from most Seahawk fans when it happened was what we're all saying, which is, wow, I'm glad he's back. I think he brings a lot to the team. I hope he can stay healthy and contribute. And I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will contribute for sure.
Just to clarify, AJ Jefferson was with the Cardinals. He was with the Cardinals between 2010 and 11 before he went to the Vikings. So he was also a Cardinal.
Well, then I guess, you know what? I guess the kids like you then. Do you like that? The kids dig that. The kids
I thought we agreed not to let Matt near children.
Well,
that's a good idea. I can't stand a little bastard, so.
But my kids love you. Hey, Dad, where's the guy with the funny accent?
There's no way to talk about Will.
Speaking of Will, we have one more to discuss. One more big signing that happened the last couple weeks, Will.
Oh, I don't. What's this guy? Somebody named Earl.
Earl Monroe. He used to play basketball. Earl the Pearl Monroe. Remember he used to play at Syracuse back in the 80s?
No, that's not it. But now, of course, Earl Thomas, the absolutely huge signing. 4 years in addition to the final year on the original deal. What was it? $40 million, nearly $28 million guaranteed. I think it's a it's a great price for Earl, and it's a good trade off for him also. I mean, he probably the average is probably lower than he wanted, but it's a shorter deal. So in a sense, he's betting on himself a little bit because by the time he plays out this deal, he won't even be 30, so he could potentially get another big money deal.
Yep.
Yeah, good. I think it's really good. I think it's just out of the two, Rich Sherman, Earl Thomas, I wasn't actually expecting them to do a deal before draft. I really wasn't. Fabulous. Just great news. Just brings that consistency. I was originally thinking you were going to mention Jeff Ireland when you were talking about the biggest signing we had. That scares the bejesus.
No, I'm trying
out of
to
me,
forget that one.
that scares the absolute bejesus out of me because after the Dolphins nightmare. Oh, good lord. But yeah, Earl Thomas, fantastic. I think that's a great signing.
Yeah. Mark, what are your thoughts on ET?
Well, naturally, this one was expected, and I'm glad it got done. I'm glad it got done so quickly that there wasn't really any huge hangups with money, and he's just such a key. I mean, he just makes the entire secondary better, and he's the the undisputed leader of the group, both expressed by the players and all the teammates just look at him as a real leader. So I'm glad it got done.
Oh, me too.
He has really become the soul of that secondary, and you just see him running around, screaming his head off, walking up and headbutting Red Bryant, a man who's 3 times his size.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's just completely fearless, and like Mark said, I mean, our defense runs the way it does because Thomas can do what he can do, and I don't think there's any other safety in the game that can do what Earl Thomas does.
Absolutely not. And the smallest guy of the Legion of Boom with the absolute biggest impact, in my opinion, of all 4 of those guys. And, just infectious. He's one of those players that you watch and you just want to grab a helmet and go hit something, just because he's just so exciting to watch, He's exciting when he plays well, and he's enthusiastic, and he's a leader, and it's obvious that those guys, obviously they all love each other and they all care about each other, and that he's no doubt the leader of that wonderful defense. When maybe the best player on that defense gets a well-deserved and well-earned extension, how could you not like that? I mean, we're set there for a long time because Cam signed his extension last year, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, so our safeties are set now. 1 down, 2 to go. We all knew what 3 would be, and I have a feeling that all 3 get extensions of some kind. But it's another great signing and great news. 4 really good signings overall. I mean, really, if you think about it, with Sidney Rice and Earl Thomas, and then getting Jefferson, who's another big corner, and then getting Schofield. I said this earlier when they re-signed Hauschka, and we had signed Bennett, Hauschka, and Rice, and had lost a lot of players. I would take those 3 that we re-signed over the 10 we lost just about any day of the week.
I don't know about Golden. I still would love to have kept Golden Tate, but yeah.
Well, with Golden Tate, I mean, what sticks in my craw a little bit is just the way that he left, with him thinking that he was disrespected and lashing out at some of the fans who had lashed out at him. It's just a bad way for it to end.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, had he have stayed, that we obviously wouldn't have had that. It would have been a sort of a dream sort of come true for a lot of us, I think. But yeah, without all of that, I would have wanted to certainly have kept a Golden around. But what we've got is we're keeping the core together. That's the key. We're building on the strengths that we had, and we're keeping the core together. It's going to be fantastic.
Absolutely, looking forward to it, and I think that means that.
Holy shit! It's halftime.
Well, we're looking forward to it. That means we have to move on as well. We're going to have a halftime game. We're going to come back and we're going to talk. The second half's going to be about the future of the Seahawks. We've talked about what they've done in the past couple weeks, and now we're going to talk about the schedule, and we're going to talk about the draft picks. But before we do that, we're going to take a quick identification, and we're going to have a special halftime show of Seahawk Draft Trivia where you listening can play along as well. So you're going to want to stay tuned to that. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back after this.
Hey, this is Matt, all the way from merry old England, and you're listening to the 12th Man Fan Jam.
Yes, once again, it is time for Seahawk Draft Trivia. That's right. And I'm your host, the Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity. Oh, thank you. Thank you all so very much. Thanks for being here on our show. We'll tell you how the show runs here in a minute. All the three members of the posse are going to participate in this wonderful, wonderful show. Okay, knock it off. Okay. All the three posse members are going to participate in this little trivia questions. We're going to have questions put up on the screen, and they're going to compete for answers to become the draft guru of the 12th Man Fan Jam and wear that moniker proudly, along with special prizes chosen especially for you. Okay, gentlemen, are you ready? You feeling good?
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Yeah, bring this on. This is going to be ridiculous. But carry on.
All right, here we go. Mark, I'm going to start with Mark. I'm going to ask all of you the same thing.
Bye.
All right. Mark, Steve Niehaus was the 270-pound defensive lineman and the Seahawks' very first draft pick ever in 1976. What college did he play for, Mark?
Oh wow.
Would you like some options?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna need multiple choice on this one.
Okay, I forgot to give you your thinking music. Hold on. What? There we go. All right. Did he play at Alabama? Did he play at Florida? Or did he play at Notre Dame? Alabama, Florida, or Notre Dame? Steve Niehaus.
Yeah, kill the music.
Yeah, kill the music.
You just killed.
And don't bring it back to life.
Don't ever play that music again.
Oh, you just wait.
No, it's okay. It's just gonna create an echo for everyone if the music's going. Let's see, Alabama. I'm just gonna say Notre Dame.
He's gonna say Notre Dame.
Right.
Mark. The answer, Mark. Did he get it right?
Yes.
Mark, you said Notre Dame. And the answer is Notre Dame. You get a point, Mark. Congratulations.
That's one of the few draft questions I could probably get right tonight.
Oh, great.
Bugger.
Why do you think he asked Mark instead of you?
Damn it! That's the only one I know so little about the draft. Oh God.
Okay. Well, here we go. I'm gonna go to Will, and we're gonna get some music too for this. Will, in 1983.
Do we have to do the music?
Yeah. Do we need the music really?
In 1983, Will, I paid for the organist, so I have to.
Cleolanda?
It's out of my pocket. All right, y'all. Okay. In 1983, Will, Kurt Warner was drafted in the first round by Seattle. Running back, not the quarterback. My question is, what number was he that year? What number pick was he? Was he the number
third
2 pick?
overall?
The third overall.
He is good.
Wow.
Will is on fire.
Third overall is right, and he gets a point.
Done you.
Dang.
Yay!
Dude, that's a lot of pressure for you.
I know. Well, isn't it just? Because I knew that one as well. But damn it, you're going to ask me one I don't know.
Okay. I'll give you an easy one.
Go on.
Okay, here's an easy one for you. Okay. Mm-hmm. and this is about one of our favorite players of all time, Aaron Curry.
Oh, man.
Oh, God.
Aaron Curry. Aaron Curry was drafted in 2009.
Yes, I knew that.
What I want to know from you, because this is easy, so I'll give you an easy one. What college did Aaron Curry come from?
Do I get options?
Yes. Wake Forest, Clemson, or North Carolina?
It wasn't North Carolina, so... I think it's cut the music. Shoot the organ. How loud is that? Shoot the organist. Honestly, I'll go for Wake Forest.
He'll go for Wake Forest.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure? Is that your complete answer?
Yeah, it's no point me phoning a friend. It's 4 a.m. They're all asleep. So
Yeah. The answer is Wake Forest.
yes, yay, guess. Good guess.
Oh my god! All right. We go to the second round. There are 3 rounds, by the way, so get excited. We're back. We're back to Mark. Mark, no music for you. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Mark, your question is: since entering the NFL, how many times have the Seahawks been without a first-round pick? Has it been 4 times, 5 times, or 6 times?
Oh wow, interesting. First off, I'm glad it's that low, and there wasn't an option of like 16 times. So let's see here: 4 times, 5 times, or 6. Boy, another stab here. I'm gonna go low. I'm gonna say only 4 times.
Only 4 times. Mark, you're right. 4 times.
Yes. Oh, he's good.
I know, and no one. And here's the best part: nobody's missed a question yet, so the pressure is growing on all of you. 2000, 2013, 2006, 1988, and 1985. If you're keeping score at home, 4 times. Seahawks been without a first-round pick.
Yeah, I was just gonna say real quick. I swear I'm not googling any of this.
No,
Yeah. Y'all better stay off
Yeah.
the damn Google.
Do you know which players we gave up to not have first round picks those years?
Percy Harvin and Deion Branch, and then I'm kind of lost after that.
yeah.
Brian Bosworth, because we took him with number 1 pick in the supplemental draft the year before.
Right.
And Blair Bush, who we traded for actually in 1983, and we traded away the 85 first round pick.
Blair Bush is part of the reason why I'm a Seahawk fan, because in the 80s, when he played for the Bengals, he went to the Seahawks, and I liked the uniforms. Like, oh, cool, there's a guy I know that's on that team now. And that was part of, like, in the 80s when I really started watching.
Is Will getting extra points for all this knowledge?
He can.
No,
Well,
I just had to pull something out of thin air in case I blow one in the next 2 questions.
Yeah.
Shit, now I've got to find something to pull out of
But
thin
back
air.
to my story, you could say I followed Bush. You could say I followed Bush all the way to Seattle.
Nice.
Yeah. All right.
Really? Because people named Bush usually don't do well in Seattle.
Oh. Nice. See, I had to mute my drummer, too. Okay. I think Will's turn. Yes, Will?
Yep.
Will, we're going to go to round 2, both physically and mentally here. All right. Your question is about Sammy Green, which is the first second-round pick we've ever had. Sammy Green was from Florida. What position did Sammy Green play? Was he a cornerback? Was he a safety? Or was he a linebacker? Sammy Green.
You had to ask about the one draft that I wasn't actually alive for.
Yeah. There it is.
Shoot. I'm going to... Okay, kill the organist.
Somebody's killed the organist.
Get this wrong, I'm blaming him or her. I don't know who it was. What the heck? I'll go cornerback.
He'll go cornerback. Will. Sammy Green was a linebacker. Linebacker.
Yeah, well, like I said, that's why I came up with the last bit there.
But you weren't alive, so what can we do there? Now we're back to Matt.
Hello.
Hi, Matt.
Oh God.
And Matt, here's your question. Your question's about Steve Rabel.
Oh, all right, yeah.
Steve Rabel was the second-round pick in 1976 as well. Of course, we had extra picks being an expansion team. And, of course, everyone knows he played wide receiver. But not everybody knows what college he attended.
I do.
What college did he attend?
Georgia Tech. I know that because he said it on live on the radio on one of the shows, because I always used to listen to him and Warren Moon a lot from the UK, so I actually knew that.
Are you sure he's not lying?
No, shut up. Why would he lie? Is that
You're
wrong,
right.
then?
He's
No,
not
it's
lying.
not
You
wrong.
got it.
Shut up.
You got it. You
my
got
little
it.
heart attack's going.
All right. Final round. Here we go. Mark, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you gotta keep going here. If you lose and Matt wins, he becomes the draft guru of the 12th Man Fan Jam. I'm not sure we can take that. All right, Mark. Terry Beeson was a second-round pick in 1977 for Seattle. In 78, he set a Seahawk record with how many tackles? I'm going to give you within 5 for this. Oh, no, I'm going to give you the answers. That's right. He set a Seahawk record with how many tackles? Let me take that back. Did he have 150, 153, or 157 tackles? 150,
Wish I'd gotten that one.
153, or 157?
Wow. Geez, and that's a heck of a lot of tackles, especially for a white linebacker.
Wow! I think the Clippers are looking for a new guy. You might want to check them out.
Yes. I know. Too soon?
No.
Yes.
Very.
I want to say right
No.
now that the 12th Man Fan Jam does not endorse the comments made by Mark in any way.
Yeah, I know. Oh boy.
You say that every week, Moses.
I do, and I mean it.
Okay, I guess there should be a game of my bad. Let's see here. So 150. You know what? For some reason, I'm gonna say first instinct. I'm gonna say 153.
He says 153. Beeson's record for tackles is 153.
Ooh.
Perfect score.
Yeah.
Man.
Why couldn't you have given me that one?
Well, I'm going to give you this one.
Oh,
and
dear.
then the pressure really comes on because Matt has to sink the final putt. Yeah.
Matt has to guess the last one.
Yeah, the last one. All right. So we're going to go with Will here. Will, after retiring from football, former second-round pick of the Seahawks, Keith Butler, went on to become a coach. And he actually has 2 Super Bowl rings as a member of what coaching staff? 2 Super Bowl rings of what coaching staff? Would that be the Dallas Cowboys? Would that be the Pittsburgh Steelers? Would that be the San Francisco 49ers?
Okay. Steelers?
He says the Steelers. And the fact is, Keith Butler was a coach for the Steelers.
Oh.
In fact, he coached
Yay!
XL. He has a ring when we lost XL, as a matter of fact. Now it comes down to this. It comes down to this.
Good
the
gravy.
Pressure. It's the pressure is too much. We gotta have
that
organ.
fucking
The
organ is
pressure.
back.
Hey, watch your fucking mouth.
I'm sorry.
All right. Here we go.
Go on then.
Okay. This is an easy one. I give you an easy one.
Oh, all right.
He's got to have at least one hard one.
It's about a second round pick, and I'm doing him a favor because he's in England. What
Thanks.
college did former second round pick Ken Hamlin come from? Did he
Who?
come from Ken Hamlin?
I know.
The Hammer.
The Hammer.
From Arkansas? Was the Hammer from Alabama? Or was the Hammer from Oklahoma? Arkansas, Alabama,
I
Oklahoma. I turn up the pressure just a little bit. Play it, Cleolanda.
Do you know what? I've forgotten all of the options he's given me.
Okay.
Arkansas.
Wait, I'll tell you. Arkansas, Alabama, or Oklahoma?
Yeah, Arkansas. Arkansas is the only one I could remember of the 3 because that poxy music.
Arkansas, Alabama, or Oklahoma? You saying Arkansas?
Yeah, that's what I said. Oh yeah, what? Yeah.
Are you sure?
Was that not one of the options then?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, yeah, Arkansas.
Okay.
Just
because the answer.
Yeah.
It's Arkansas.
Oh! Guess. Total
We got
guess.
a tie.
It's only because that's the first one. Awesome.
we got a tie. So now you all, it's between Mark and Matt.
Oh
And
man.
I have a trivia question here.
Okay.
And it's going to be first come first serve. So I'll be paying attention to whoever speaks first.
All right.
Okay. Second round pick Lofa Tatupu.
Hold on. I'm just gonna mute Mark's microphone. Hold on.
Hey now.
Sorry, I'm not really. Carry on.
Second round pick Lofa Tatupu and Matt Hasselbeck's dads both played together on what team?
Oh, that's easy.
What do you got?
The Oakland Raiders.
The Oakland Raiders, he says. Matt, do you have an answer, Matt?
No.
You don't have an answer?
No.
Guess what?
What?
It's the Patriots!
Oh. Well, I wouldn't have got that. Does that mean I win by default?
Because Lofa's dad played for the Patriots, and that's where he and Hasselbeck met. So, because Matt didn't answer, he wins. Yes. Congratulations, Matt. You get some wonderful prizes chosen especially for you. And what you get...
Okay, we let Matt win a rematch.
Matt is our draft guru. The crowd loves you.
I know so little about the draft.
I know. Hey, I know. You know so little about a draft, but you're our draft hero. That's the way this show works. Isn't that great? Congratulations, Matt. Congratulations, Mark. Congratulations, Will. Congratulations, Moses. And congratulations to that lousy organist. So, This has been Seahawk 12th Man Fan Jam Draft Trivia. We'll be back in the second half right after this.
Boy, you know that was awesome.
Welcome to the third quarter of the 12th Man Fan Jam. So once again, let us join our host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you, Magic Voice, the 12th Man Fan Jam, and welcome back to the third quarter of the 12th Man Fan Jam. If you're just joining us, you missed a rousing rendition of 12th Man Fan Jam Seahawk Draft Trivia, where an amazing upset, Matt from England, became our draft guru. And as we took a break there, I want Mark to share. Mark, do you want to share what your comments were about after you lost?
Yeah, I was so certain of my answer that I commented that I just leaped at the chance instantly to lose the competition.
Hey, at least you made it into the final round. I didn't even get a lovely parting gift.
You didn't even get the home game.
No.
No, you're a complete loser. All right.
Can I just thank Steve Raybould for telling us all who his college was? Otherwise, I wouldn't have been there either.
I did not know that, but congratulations, Draft Guru, and I'll be calling you Draft Guru for the rest of the evening and probably the next couple shows. We're going to talk about the Seahawks schedule right now that came out. Of course, we're opening Thursday at home against Green Bay, and then as I look at the schedule, it looks like there are 8 home games, and there are 8 road games too. So. That's pretty nice. Yeah, it's pretty nice.
That's the kind of insight you can't get anywhere else, folks.
Yeah,
no, totally.
Mark, what stood out from you on our schedule? Anything really jump out at you as yay or boo or anything like that?
Well, a couple things. So give me a minute here. I kind of like first off that even though we'll be coming off a short week, that we play the 49ers on Thanksgiving, but it's a primetime game and we always get up for primetime games, and I actually think that it's better we're playing them at night rather than a typical Sunday 1 p.m. start there, because our games have been close in San Francisco, but we always seem to be just a little off or a little flat, so I think the primetime factor helps. Besides that, I think it's unfortunate that we have the very first bye possible, because that means all these games in a row and the rest of the remainder season all the way through the Super Bowl. So we could be playing 16 weeks in a row. And I remember that we had only back-to-back home games once, but we have back-to-back road games twice. So, but the bottom line for me is that we are as good, if not better, than every single opponent on our schedule. So I still think we're going to win 12 or 13 games.
Excellent. Draft Guru, what was your thought on the schedule?
Very similar. I mean, I was very pleased. I don't like the bye unless you're doing badly. The bye for me always knocks us off our. If you've got a good run going, you've got a bit of momentum going. The bye week can just kill that dead for you. Having it so early on does cause issues with injuries, does cause issues, that sort of thing. But for momentum, if you can get from week 5 all the way through to 17 and a winning record, awesome. Do you know what I mean? So I don't mind the bye being that early. It's the same. It's just. Sometimes it happens that way. 49ers, we're playing them, aren't we, almost 2 weeks apart? So we play them at theirs, I think, where's the draft? Hold on, I've got it here somewhere. There, the draft. Sorry, keep thinking about the draft as I am the guru. Yeah. Schedule, there we go. Yeah, so we play them week 13 at theirs, and then the week 15 at ours. I quite like them being so close together. Good grudge match there, I think, depending on who wins the first one. So yeah, I mean, I'm quite happy with it. And I agree with Mark. I think we're as good, if not better, than all the others there. So why not another 12, 13 wins? Why not another Super Bowl? No reason.
Yeah. Well, I always have a little trouble with buys myself because I don't know if they're trying to hit on me, are they trying to hit on my wife?
Wow. It's brilliant. Fantastic. So I'm just writing this down. So far, we've got a little bit of racism, some homophobia, and I've mentioned.
Wait till you see what we've got for an encore.
I've mentioned women at the beginning, so that's the women's sexism. So yeah, okay. Will, you just need to take some. You just need to take the piss out of some disabled people.
Okay,
and we're there.
Your turn. Hit it.
Jeff Ireland, someone like that.
Yeah. Hit it, Will.
Well, I got to work on that.
What was your view on the schedule, Will?
Oh, actual question.
Yeah. Real question this time.
Well, nobody likes the early bye. I just wonder, why does any team have to have a bye that early? Why can't just take the middle 4 weeks out of the season, give eight teams off a week, so it's all more evenly spaced? But yeah, the final 6-7 games of the season. I mean, 5 out of our last 6 are division games, so. The whole season's going to come down to the last month and a half from just before Thanksgiving on. So I like that. I like that. It's going to be pretty tough, but we can take it. And I like knowing that we control our own destiny going through the whole season. Yeah. I mean, there's not a question of we played badly, dropped a division game early, and it's haunting us all year. No, it's gonna come down. It's going to happen when at the end of the season when you got to play your best. It's all about how you finish.
I agree. I used to be one of those people that thought that the schedule was kind of overblown because, like I said before, it is 8 home games, it is 8 road games. But I think there is a difference. I think if you're playing in Green Bay in September, you're playing in December is a difference. I think when you're playing these teams, does make a difference. So I think it's not. I still think it's a little overrated, but I think it is important to know when we're playing. But my question, and I'll start with Mark here. One final question about the schedule. There's been a lot of complaining from some Seahawk fans that we didn't get any of the home primetime games. And then an article came out that said that there was something about every time that they put us on primetime at home, we wind up blowing out the opponent. And for ratings and money, they really didn't want to do that. Mark, are you bothered by that report? Or are you bothered by our lack of home primetime games?
Not really. I'd heard that. I'd read that. For me, again, we proved last year, first off, that we could win on the road at any time, excuse me, which was really nice, especially that 10 a.m. problem that we had. I think that the fact that we're primetime, helps us in general, and especially on the road. There's something about prime time. There's something about being under the lights that the Seahawks get up for. I do not know offhand if 2 or 3 of our primetime games are away. I know we opened Thursday night at home against Green Bay, but are the other 3 on the road?
I believe so.
Yep. 1 home game to start, and then the other 3 are all away games.
Okay, I actually think that works to our advantage, again, because that I think we only have 3 10 a.m. starts this season. Not that it really matters after what we did last year, but I think primetime road games actually work to our advantage rather than playing even at a 4 o'clock Eastern time, and especially at 1 o'clock Eastern time. Even though again we did so well last year.
Good deal. Guru, what do you think of our lack of primetime love at home?
Well, if the reason given is the real reason that we're just too damn good, then I'm quite happy with that. As long as we keep on being good. No, I it's up to the TV people and everyone to decide what they want to do, what's best for them and best for the NFL, whatever. Also primetime games can sometimes be quite late as well, which if you're living in England, purely as a selfish reason, means that I don't normally get to watch them live. So yeah. I'm quite happy. It all sounds quite good to me.
Well, and let's be real honest here. I mean, it makes logical sense. Let's be honest. The Super Bowl, if you didn't have a horse in the race and your horse wasn't up 43-8, you probably turned it off and went and did something else. And I mean, yeah. To me, it's the best game ever. But everyone I know that have no interest in the Seahawks, so it was one of the most boring games ever. I understand that because I've seen that. We've seen those Super Bowls before. And so it makes perfect sense that they wouldn't want us to host the games because last year, 29-3, 34-7, they were boring. People would turn them off. Now, all of us would, of course, watch it all the way to the end because that's our team blowing the other team out. But if they want to make some money, I can totally understand it. What do you think, Will?
Yeah, I see the financial argument there. I mean, obviously they want to put on the most compelling matchups. And, the report about how, they were worried about putting Seattle on primetime. I think there's some truth to that. I think it was a bit overblown, probably. I think there are a lot of reasons that went into it. Just from a personal standpoint, it would have been nice to have just one more home primetime game because I get to go to the games. I love primetime games. There's always just something a little bit special about them. So it would have been nice, say, the Arizona, instead of playing Sunday night in Arizona, play Sunday night when Arizona comes to Seattle. That would have been fun.
Yeah.
And you would have had a bit of a good storyline because Arizona is the only team that's beaten Seattle at home in the last 2 years.
Right.
So, but yeah, I don't really have any complaints about it. It's just that, it would have been nice. Just one more home game in prime time.
Well, and I will second what you said. I haven't been to a Seahawk primetime home game, but I did go here to the Colts and Rams the week after we beat the Rams, and I believe that was a Monday night game. The Rams played the Colts up here, and there is a whole different vibe to a primetime game than there is to any other game. I mean, even though I really didn't even have a horse in that race, I was rooting obviously against the Rams. But there was a whole different vibe to the city. There was a whole different vibe to the hangouts and the tailgating. And I just kind of looked around, and of course I could because I had no horse in the race. But I kind of looked around and thought, wow, these games are pretty neat. And so I kind of know what you mean about that, from an outsider standpoint and how different that prime time can feel. So I can imagine being at a Seahawk prime time game is a whole nother animal. But yeah, I mean, I think there's something to that argument.
Yeah, I was going to say too, what I forgot to mention is that we play the 49ers twice in 3 weeks, and I think the first one is Thanksgiving, and then we're back in Seattle 2 weeks later, and a year ago there was a long gap in between matchups between the two teams.
Yeah, there was. And in fact, if you look at that schedule, we play Arizona, then San Francisco, and then the Eagles, then we play San Francisco and Arizona. So not only do we play San Francisco with just 1 week between them, we play the Cardinals on the outside of those games with just San Francisco and Philadelphia in between those, if you follow me. So we play Philadelphia, and then we play San Francisco, Philadelphia, San Francisco, but we will play Atlanta, San Francisco, Philadelphia, San Francisco, Atlanta. Arizona. So that's kind of a crazy schedule there, too. They're kind of sandwiched in there, kind of all at the end. We don't play a conference game, a division game, rather, until our 6th game of the year, which is weird. Which is the
Moses,
Rams.
Little schedule trivia here for you.
Yeah.
This year will be the 4th time in 5 years that we've ended the season playing the Rams at home. Each time in previous seasons that we ended the year playing the Rams at home, we got into the playoffs, And in each of those games, there was the NFC West or the possibility of the NFC West at stake in those games. So
Interesting.
anytime we end with the Rams, it's usually a good sign.
That is a good sign. That's a good sign. Guru, any final remarks about schedule?
No, not really. Just bring it on.
right.
I'm looking forward to the preseason. I want to see the Broncos. I mean, I know the preseason's a preseason, but I just hope that if we do win the snap, that we fumble the first snap and shoot it into the end zone and give them a safety. I think that would be
Fair is fair.
Fair's fair. I think that would be lovely.
As I was gonna say,
Sorry?
we shoot over ahead of Wilson, and Wilson just kind of looks at him and points at it like, "Go ahead."
Go ahead. Just
Yeah.
mess up the cadence. But I want to see the Packers game. I want to see us win that game without any controversy. I just want to see that cleanly won, and then we can all turn around and say, yeah, we are the better team. Shut the hell up, because I'm sick and tired of hearing about foul Marys.
Yeah, and I think that's going to happen.
Amen.
Maybe this is a way for the NFL to get rid of that. I don't know. But I do know this.
It's the end of the third quarter, bitches.
I think we're at the end of the third quarter, so we're going to take a real quick break. We're going to come back. Hey, we haven't even talked about the draft on this draft show yet, so we're going to come back in the fourth quarter, finish up strong, talk about the upcoming draft, and we'll talk about that right after this.
You're listening to the 12th Man Fan Jam on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
It's payback, Russell Wilson falling way back in the draft. Turn nothing into something, still can make that straw in the gold jump. I will spin, rumple still skin in a haystack.
And now it's time for the fourth quarter of the 12th Man Fan Jam. Here to lead us through the final quarter is once again our host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you, Magic Voice of the 12th Man Fan Jam. Welcome to the fourth and final quarter of this very special draft edition of the 12th Man Fan Jam. Fourth quarter here, we're going to pick up with our old Shadow Hawk, News Hawk, Will. Is going to lead us through the fourth quarter and take us through some draft information. Will, what have you got for us?
Well, thanks, Moses. I'll just go over a couple positions that I think Seattle could target. And then as I go through each position, I'll mention a player or two that may be available at spot number 32, assuming we don't trade down, which I think we're definitely going to be listening to the trade offers because I think John Schneider wants more picks. But okay, kind of like last year, not a lot of glaring needs, but a couple places where we can use some depth. One potential place is on the defensive line. We've got a lot of young kids coming up. Benson Mayoa, Jordan Hill, Greg Scruggs is coming back. But on the flip side, we have lost Chris Clemens, and who knows if we'll be able to keep Cliff Averill after this season. So possibility on defensive end would be Coney Ely, defensive end from Missouri. Pass rushing speed and ability. I mean, the guy is just big and fast, and it's everything you're looking at in a pass rusher. Kind of raw though. Not much of a run defender, and he's still honing his craft a little bit. So, but that could be again a good fit for a team like Seattle, where they're going to be rotating guys in and out. So he wouldn't have to come in and play all hundreds and all the snaps in a particular game. We could ease him in. So, sorry, Moses, go ahead.
Oh no, I didn't cough. That was you, wasn't it?
Oh, okay. Another position that we could look at, I think a lot of people are looking at, is the wide receiver position. We did lose Golden Tate. We did get obviously Sidney Rice back, but there's always room for a bit more. Couple options here. Marquise Lee, wide receiver out of USC, had a great season in 2012. Had 113 catches. Injuries and other factors really derailed him last year, but the guy's blazing fast. He's a playmaker. Definite number one receiver potential. Kind of small though. I mean, he's only 6 feet, got kind of a thin frame, and he had so many troubles with injuries last year. You got to wonder if that's going to plague him in the NFL. Late riser up draft boards, Cody Latimer from Indiana. He's a little taller. He's 6'2", a little thicker and more durable also. He's got great hands, more quick than fast. I mean, he'll come out of his breaks and get separation, but he's probably not going to burn you over the top. Again, not... sorry, what's that?
Oh, that time I did say something. There's a guy called Odell Beckham Jr. from LSU. He's short. He's 5'11", but he seems to, what I've read, seems kind of be a poor man's Golden Tate kick returner. Really aggressive, going after the ball. And I know we've got Harvin, but I would like to see someone other than Harvin return punts to kind of give him a break on that duty. It seems like this kid would be a really electric punt returner. So I don't know. Do you know much about Odell Beckham?
I do. I think you've summed him up really well. It's another Golden Tate type. I mean, he's a smaller guy who will zip in and out of traffic, and I think he, as a returner, there would be some value. I just wonder if he's going to drop to us at 32.
Right.
That's the only thing. He seems like a guy who might be off the board before then.
Right.
But hey, if he drops to us, I'd run his name up to the podium. That would be a good one, I think.
There's a guy named HaHa too. Can we get HaHa on the team?
HaHa Clinton Dix, yeah.
I just want him on the team.
My favorite comment with him is if somebody asked him in an interview if he ever had any trouble with his name, and he said during the whole Monica Lewinsky thing. That I did not make that up. That was his answer.
Well, what's your thought on guard position on sort of the offensive line though? Because wouldn't you say that was one of our biggest weaknesses?
I do, and actually I've got a couple different offensive linemen that we could go with here. So it's actually a nice segue. Thank you, Matt. One possibility, Jawan James from Tennessee. Probably of the people that are going to be available to us, he's probably the most pro-ready. Good pass blocker, pretty feisty, moves well. Pretty good run blocker, but more of a pass blocker at this stage. James actually might project more towards left tackle than right tackle, but that also gives Seattle options a couple of years from now if we're having trouble with Russell Okung. We've got a guy who could potentially slide over to left tackle if we have to let Okung go. Options at guard. Got the kid from UCLA whose name I will butcher, I'm sure. Xavier Su'a-Filo.
That's okay. Listen, I'm sure Matt won't give you a hard time with your butchering like he does with my French, you know.
Well, it's the phyllo pastry guy. That's the only reason I can remember who he is. So
Jean-Pierre.
But Philo, it's good. A good pass blocker, good run blocker, durable guy. Has played guard and tackle, but had trouble at tackle, so he's really going to be guard at the next stage. Moves well. Probably a better fit in a power blocking scheme as opposed to a zone blocking scheme like Seattle runs. He's athletic enough to work in a zone blocking scheme, but it may not be his best fit. As far as guards concerned, my favorite player in this draft, and actually this is the guy I would take if I were running things, which thankfully for all our sakes I'm not. Joel Bitonio, he's a late riser up some draft boards. He is from Nevada, played left tackle. His arms are a little short, so he's probably going to be a guard at the next level, although he can also play center. So if we have to let Moses' favorite player go, Bitonio could serve as a backup center in addition to guard. But he's a great run blocker, great pass blocker. Also plays with some attitude. Just a really, really competitive guy, good smarts and awareness. And honestly, I think he could come in and have a good chance at starting at left guard right out of the blocks.
You know, it's too bad that we've gotten rid of Bruno Giacomini. We could have had the team, the whole side of our offensive line could have been Bitonio and Giacomini. Hey, we're blocking here. Hey,
we're blocking here.
Hey, we're blocking here. I love the name.
So anyway, those are a few linemen who could be available at our pick. again, the nice thing is this draft is particularly deep at offensive line and wide receivers. So if we go best player available at 32 or trade down, no need to panic because we can still get some good guys a little later on.
The NFL magazine, Sports Illustrated magazine, has Gabe Jackson, guard on Mississippi State. You know anything about him, Will? I don't want to put you on the spot.
Yeah, that is not somebody I know much about. What's the article say?
It says reminiscent of another SEC standout, Lions rookie Larry Wolford, Jackson has what it takes to pave lanes for Marshawn Lynch. That's a second round thought though from them. The first round they have a tight end, and I don't get that at all. But
basically trying to predict what Pete Carroll and John Schneider are going to do is an exercise in futility.
Absolutely.
To begin with, but they have. I think it's likely though that we are going to see some linemen and receivers going fairly soon.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, Mark, what are your thoughts on the draft?
Well, a few things. It's our first draft as Super Bowl champs, which is awesome, and it's kind of a landmark occasion right there. I'm really, we don't have a lot of glaring needs, but the closest glaring need I think we do have is just offensive line. It's a tiresome subject. We've been trying to hit in the first round for this position for years. We've had some success, but I'm hoping we go offensive line first round. If we stay there, if we trade out of it and get multiple picks, that's cool. But if we stay at 32, I don't want a situation where we do another Christine Michael pick, who may or may not be good. But I want to draft for somebody at whatever position we end up drafting for, someone who can potentially start right away. And I'm really hoping that's offensive line. And Will's last draft pick that he mentioned out of Nevada. That's a guy who I've read a little bit about, and that to me would be great if we ended up getting him from the sounds of it.
Excellent.
One more brief bit on Bitonio. I mentioned that he probably projects inside to guard at the professional level after playing tackle in college. He played moved over to guard at the Senior Bowl and picked it up just like that. Really, I mean, Excellent. He impressed a lot of people there. So I think he could come in at guard and start or at least compete for a guard spot right away.
Good. We could definitely use some of that. Excellent. Anything else to add there, Draft Guru?
Anything about the tight ends?
Always the tight ends with you.
Because I think again I want someone with a bit of speed. I like Miller. I like him a lot. Very solid, but he just doesn't stand out for me anywhere. So again, if we could pick up somebody that we could throw in there as well, that would be quite good. I quite like that.
Well, the Sports Illustrated has that Amaro going us in the first round from Texas Tech. You know anything about him, Will?
Amaro, possible. I think it's more likely if he drops to us in the second. I could really see Seattle go Austin Safarian-Jenkins from UW in the second round if he drops that far, which he could since he didn't do combine, didn't do pro day, so he could drop. On the other hand, the private workouts he ran very fast. I think he had a 4.5 at one point for a tight end, not too shabby.
Yeah, really.
So, I think that would be more likely than Amaro. I mean, Amaro's got talent, obviously, but as far as bang for your buck, Safarian-Jenkins in the second round wouldn't be a bad way to go.
What was the duck that had all the drug issues, all the substance issues? Because he was an option for us at one point. I remember somebody's talking about. What the hell was his name? Lyra, or Lila, or something?
Is that a tight end?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure. You guys got anything?
I can't remember. I can't think of it. I'll have to see if I can find his name. Anyway, but yeah, there was one. I know they'd mentioned one that might be pretty good. But he had a lot of issues off the field. But it was. I think his name was Lyra or Colt Lyra or something. Here we go. Colt Lyerla. I don't know how you pronounce that. Why can't you Americans just have a name like Smith?
I know.
Honestly.
I would have been fine with
We'd mess
Smith.
it up. We would mess it up. You know that.
Yeah, that's true enough. But yeah, apparently he's got some off-field issues, but we're not afraid of drafting off-field issues. You know, we've done that with Bruce Irvin.
Yeah.
Golden Tate, the Donuts, or whatever it was.
It's very true.
Of course, that was after the draft, but
Yeah, that was after draft. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. I just think that again, that's just a position I'd like to see filled properly, just because I think it gives us more options and just sort of messes things up a little bit for teams.
well, and I'm looking forward also to seeing what Luke Wilson can do after full off season of work, and we also get McCoy back, who
Yeah,
he's got some issues of his own, but he is pretty quick. So,
well, you know the guy I want to see is draft, and he's a tackle. But you know why I want him drafted is Morgan Moses, and if you have to even ask why I want Morgan Moses on this team, yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. Having Moses on the team would be pretty cool. So that's my draft
you would run out and get the jersey right then,
away.
That's my draft insight right there. That's pretty much it.
That's it. That's all you got.
Yeah, Mark, what else you got for us? A couple more notes here on the draft.
Well, I think it's going to be interesting, guys. We're going to obviously get an idea of how Pete and John feel about the offensive line in terms of if they stay at 32 and pick a lineman there, or if they trade out of the pick but still don't go off of offensive line until later in the draft. You know, maybe they're really counting on Bowie or and Bailey, to fill a couple spots.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just hoping that somewhere in there, I'm hoping that we go offensive line, relatively early. Although apparently it's a deep draft for that. Maybe the guy they really like is somebody they already know or figure they can grab in the third round.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Will, how do you think about them? Will, what are your thoughts on them trading down or pocketing some picks and trying to get more picks? Do you think they're going to try to get more picks?
Well, we're definitely going to get more picks at some point. We're not going to come out of this draft with only 6 rookies. But as far as trading down out of 32, I think for that you really want to look at what Houston does in the first round. If they come out of the first round without drafting a quarterback, there's going to be some good ones on the board, and there's going to be teams knowing that Houston still wants a quarterback. So if we get down to our pick and Houston took Jadeveon Clowney or somebody, our phone's going to be ringing off the hook, I think, because teams like the Jaguars, the Raiders, the Browns, all these teams that may not take a quarterback in the first round but also want to get one, I think they're going to need to jump up and leapfrog Houston.
All right, Draft Guru, what you got, man? You're the guru. Lead us on.
Do you know what? I mean, I think we talk about the first round, second round. We know what John Schneider and Pete Carroll are like. They're going to pick up people who we aren't even thinking of. We're not even looking at. We haven't even considered. If I don't have a draft day moment where I go, who or what, and if we don't get a D by the great, by those media pundits that grade our drafts, we always get a C, a D, or something. We're the worst draft on the planet. The front office is amazing. This is that time of year where I sort of step back and I just watch what they do, and I sort of say, okay, whatever you want is fine by me.
Oh, there was Matt. There was a great moment at the draft party in 2012. Our picks coming up. Everybody's getting all excited. Who are we gonna get? Who are we gonna get? Then they announce Bruce Irvin.
Yeah.
You could have heard a pin drop for about 5 seconds, and then all of a sudden, 2,000 people at the same time pull out their phones and start Googling Bruce Irvin.
Who? But if there's always going to be those sorts of moments. This is the Seahawks. This is the way they work. This is the way John Schneider works. They've scouted who they want. They know who they want, and they know where they're probably going to get them as well, because they're pretty good at doing that. So, do you know what? I hold my hands up. I sit back and I watch and I wait, and then it's just going to be awesome. I don't care who they pick. They'll be brilliant. Hello?
Agreed.
Well, I think Moses has probably had to leave the building, maybe. Perhaps Indiana has just lost its internet connection.
I was stuck.
Busy partying the Red Sea.
I'm sorry, I was stuck in the polar vortex there, but I am back.
Welcome
so
back.
I apologize for. Well, thank you. I was just going to say that before we call it a show, that the people that get drafted by Seattle, they're going to hear one thing from me. And what they're going to hear, if they get drafted by Seattle, they're going to hear this from me. Okay?
Oh, you lucky bastard.
That's pretty much it right there. Because if you got drafted by the Seattle Seahawks, you are a lucky bastard. I'll tell you that right now. So, speaking of lucky bastards, we've all been lucky bastards this evening. Let's end on a high note, shall we? My goodness, has this been a fun welcome back to the 12th Man Fan Jam or what? It's been informational, educational, it's been fun. And what did we learn on this episode of 12th Man Fan Jam? Well, we learned that Mark has officially thrown his hat in the ring for Clippers owner. Excited for him. Congratulations, Mark. We learned Will doesn't know about Seahawk drafts that were done before he was born, which I don't understand what the logic is there. But
He has a weakness.
it's a weakness. And we learned that Matt is our draft guru. Who knew? What an upset. An unbelievable upset. An amazing upset. So, enough of the upsets. On behalf of Statsman Mark, on behalf of Newshound Will, my partner in crime Matt, this is your self-appointed Reverend Moses, the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity. Thank you all so very much for joining us this week, and thank you for making us part of your off-season Seahawk tradition. We look forward to helping you waste another hour of your life the next time we all get together to talk a little Seahawk football. That'll probably be in a couple weeks. Enjoy the draft, everybody. Everyone is Mel Kiper's bitch, and go Hawks!
Go Hawks!
Go Hawks.